If you woke up this morning expecting your Social Security payment and opened your bank account to find nothing, no deposit, no explanation, just silence, you need to listen to this video right now. Because what I'm about to tell you is already happening to real seniors across America. And if you're receiving Social Security, planning to apply soon, or helping a parent manage their benefits, the next few minutes could literally save you thousands of dollars. Hi. I'm Henry Charles with US News 24, and today we're breaking down a massive Social Security rule that just went into effect. This isn't some proposal that might happen. This is happening right now. As of today, the Social Security Administration completely changed how they verify benefits, how they communicate with you, and how they monitor your money. For millions of retirees, this is the biggest shift to Social Security procedures in over a decade. Here's what matters most. Under this new system, missing a single email, delaying a response, or overlooking one notice could pause your monthly payments without warning. And I'm going to show you exactly what changed, who's most at risk, and what you need to do today to protect yourself. For years, Social Security operated on a pretty simple system. You reported changes, they processed them, life went on. That's over. The new approach is far more aggressive, far more automated, and way less forgiving of mistakes. The SSA says they're trying to prevent improper payments and protect taxpayer money. But here's what that actually means for you. You now have to constantly prove you're still eligible for your benefits. Not just once when you apply, every single year, starting now. This new rule has 3 major changes you need to understand immediately. And the first one affects literally every person collecting Social Security. Starting today, every beneficiary age 62 and older must now participate in mandatory annual verification. What does that mean? Once a year, you have to prove you're still eligible to receive benefits. The SSA will send you a formal notice asking you to confirm your income from all sources, your living arrangements, your marital status, and sometimes even details about your assets. This isn't optional. This isn't a suggestion. This is mandatory. And here's the part that makes this serious. You have exactly 30 days to respond. If you miss that deadline, the SSA can suspend your benefits. Completely. Until you comply. Think about that for a second. Missing one notice, being sick, traveling, being confused. Any of those things could stop your monthly check cold. The government says this catches fraud. And yes, billions of dollars in improper payments go out every year to people who shouldn't receive them. But for everyday retirees, this creates a very real danger. Seniors who've been collecting benefits without any problems for years now have to stay constantly alert. One missed email could mean no paycheck. But wait, there's more. Because the second change makes this even more complicated. The way Social Security communicates with you is completely different now. For decades, SSA notices came through the mail, regular envelopes, your mailbox. That's almost entirely gone. Now they're switching to what they call an electronic first communication model. Most notices, including those annual verification requests, will arrive by email or through messages in your online Social Security account. And here's the critical part. The moment that email sends, the clock starts ticking. You're officially notified. The instant Social Security hits send. Whether you actually saw it or not doesn't matter. If you miss the email, if it goes to spam, if your inbox is full, that doesn't pause the 30-day deadline. The responsibility is entirely on you. The only exceptions? Beneficiaries over 75 and people who can prove they don't have internet access. Everyone else is expected to operate inside this digital system. Now, think about how many seniors rarely check email. How many created an email address years ago and never log in? How many are way more comfortable with paper letters than online accounts? For those people, this change is a massive problem. A missed email, an outdated address, a message in spam. That's all it takes to lose your benefits. But there's a third change, and honestly, it might be the most powerful and controversial of all. Starting today, The Social Security Administration is monitoring you in ways that were never possible before. The old system relied on you reporting changes. You got a new job, you told them. You remarried, you let them know. That's done. Now Social Security is constantly cross-checking your information against multiple government databases. They're pulling data from the IRS, state tax departments, unemployment agencies, the VA, state vital records, banks, financial institutions, and credit reporting agencies. All of it gets automatically compared against your Social Security file. What that means in real terms: the government might know about changes in your life before you tell them. You get a new job, open a bank account, sell a property, get married, get divorced, move to a new address. All of that can now show up in SSA databases automatically. If anything conflicts with what they think they know about you, the system flags it. And when a discrepancy gets flagged, the burden shifts to you to explain it. You might get a notice demanding clarification. If they're not satisfied with your answer, they can reduce your benefits, suspend them entirely, or declare that you were overpaid and demand money back. In extreme cases, they can even refer you for fraud investigation. Again, the government says this prevents billions in improper payments, and they're not wrong. But for regular seniors, it creates a situation where honest mistakes can turn into serious problems. Imagine getting a letter saying your benefits are cut because a database shows income you never earned, or because some financial transaction got misinterpreted by a computer. Fixing those errors can take weeks or months. During that time, your monthly income gets interrupted. Social Security isn't waiting for you to report changes anymore. They're actively searching for them. And if outside information doesn't perfectly match your records, you have to prove nothing's wrong. Now here's the thing. These rules apply to almost everyone collecting Social Security, but some groups are going to feel the impact way harder than others. First, seniors who continue working while collecting benefits. There are already limits on how much you can earn before benefits get reduced. That hasn't changed. What's changed is how fast and how aggressive the SSA enforces it. In the past, you wouldn't hear about earnings issues until the following year after you filed taxes. The SSA would review everything and request repayment. Inconvenient? Yes. But at least you had time to plan. Now, with real-time data matching, the SSA sees your earnings almost immediately. Benefits can be reduced or suspended in the middle of the year. For seniors living paycheck to paycheck, that sudden income loss is devastating. Second, widows and widowers receiving survivor benefits. These benefits are extremely sensitive to marital status changes. If a surviving spouse remarries before a certain age, they lose eligibility. The old system relied on beneficiaries reporting remarriages. Some reported immediately, others delayed. Some didn't understand the requirement. Now Social Security has access to state marriage records. They know about remarriages almost instantly. If there's any gap between when you got married and when you reported it, the SSA assumes you received benefits improperly during that period. That triggers overpayment demands, even when the beneficiary did everything right. Third, and most vulnerable, seniors receiving Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. SSI is based on financial need and strict income and asset limits. Small changes, like receiving help from family or having extra dollars in a bank account, affect eligibility. Under this new data matching system, those changes get detected almost instantly. For low-income seniors relying on SSI, a sudden benefit suspension can create an immediate financial crisis. These three groups will get the most notices, the most questions, and the highest risk of interrupted payments. But honestly, no beneficiary is completely untouched by these changes. If you have anything even slightly complicated about your financial situation, you need to be more careful than ever. Let me paint you a picture of what's already happening in the first days of this system. Picture a 68-year-old woman who's been collecting Social Security for years. She checks her bank account this morning. No deposit. She calls the SSA and waits on hold for hours. They tell her an electronic verification notice was sent to an old email address she barely uses. She never responded within 30 days. Benefits? Suspended. Now she's got to go through a reinstatement process that could take weeks. Meanwhile, her rent and bills are due. Think about a 64-year-old man who took early retirement but works a few hours a week for extra income. The old system. He'd keep records and settle any earnings issues the following year. The new system? He gets a notice that benefits are stopping immediately because SSA data shows he earned too much last quarter. The problem? The figure includes a one-time payment he doesn't think should count. Now he's fighting to prove his case while his monthly income disappears. Or consider a 72-year-old widow who remarried last year. She called Social Security and reported the change. She thought everything was handled. Today she gets a letter saying she was overpaid thousands of dollars because the remarriage was never properly recorded in the system. She did what she was supposed to do, but now she has to prove it. These aren't rare situations. This is exactly what happens when a large government program shifts from a human-centered system to an automated, data-driven one. Computers don't understand context. They don't recognize honest mistakes. They just compare numbers and generate actions based on rules. And when those actions involve suspending your only source of income, the consequences are very real. I'm telling you this not to create panic, but because it's critical you pay attention. A missed message, a misunderstood rule, a small reporting delay, any of that can snowball into a major financial headache. That's why knowing exactly what steps to take starting right now is so important. If you're currently collecting Social Security or planning to apply soon, here's what you need to do immediately to protect yourself. Step 1. Create or update your online My Social Security account if you don't already have one. Go to the official Social Security website right now and set it up. If you already have an account but haven't logged in a while, access it today. The most critical detail to check is your email address. This is where most notices will arrive. The email on file must be one you actually use and check regularly. If it's an old address, barely monitored, or shared with someone else, update it immediately. I recommend creating a dedicated email account used only for Social Security and important financial matters so nothing gets lost. Step 2. Review all your contact information. Your mailing address, phone number, personal details. Everything must be accurate in the system. If the SSA tries to reach you and the information is outdated, they won't assume it's their problem. They'll assume you failed to respond. Step 3. Start organizing documentation right now. You might be asked to prove your income, living arrangements, or marital status at any time. Keep copies of tax returns, pay stubs, pension statements, bank records, anything that affects your eligibility. Put it all in one safe place so you can respond fast if a notice arrives. Step 4. Check your My Social Security account at least once a month. Set a reminder on your phone or calendar. Don't wait for Social Security to contact you. Being proactive is now one of the best ways to avoid surprises. Step 5. If you're still working while collecting benefits, keep detailed earnings records. Save every pay stub, every 1099 form, proof of bonuses, anything proving how much you made. If the SSA's data shows income you think is incorrect, these documents are your main defense. Step 6. Report any life change the moment it happens. You move, you get married, you start a job, you stop working. Anything that could affect benefits. Notify Social Security immediately through your online account and keep confirmation. Don't assume they'll figure it out. Step 7. Stay alert. This system requires seniors to be more involved and more attentive than ever before. The days of just getting a monthly check without thinking about it are gone. Taking these steps now might feel inconvenient, but they're way easier than dealing with suspended payments or fighting appeals later. Now, this rule didn't take effect without serious pushback. During the public comment period, tens of thousands of people and organizations voiced strong objections. Senior advocacy groups said the changes place an unfair burden on older Americans who struggle with technology or live with health challenges that make fast responses difficult. The AARP warned that forcing most communication into electronic form could leave many seniors confused or at risk of missing critical notices. They pointed out that millions of retirees still rely on traditional mail and aren't comfortable with online accounts. Disability rights advocates raise concerns that a rigid 30-day response window doesn't account for real life, hospital stays, caregiving responsibilities, cognitive limitations. Privacy groups focused on the expanded data matching system, arguing that giving the SSA access to banking information and credit reports without individual consent threatens personal privacy. Critics warned that automated systems would flag innocent transactions as suspicious, forcing seniors to prove their innocence in complicated bureaucratic processes. They also said the rule flips fairness. Instead of the government proving you're ineligible, you now constantly have to prove you're eligible. Despite all these objections, the SSA defended the changes. The agency says improper payments cost billions every year, and stronger verification is necessary to protect the long-term stability of Social Security. They emphasize that exceptions exist for people over 75 and those without internet access. They argue 30 days is reasonable to respond. Legal challenges were filed to block the rule. Federal courts allowed it to move forward, ruling the SSA has broad authority to set procedures for managing benefits. From the government's perspective, this is about efficiency and accuracy. From many seniors' perspective, it feels like added pressure at a time when stability matters most. Both sides have a point. Social Security absolutely needs to prevent fraud and overpayments. But how those goals are pursued has real human consequences. Understanding this controversy explains why the rule is structured the way it is and why beneficiaries must now take such an active role protecting their own benefits. Here's the good news. Even with this new rule fully in place, you still have legal rights as a Social Security beneficiary. The system might be stricter and more automated, but it's not absolute. If your benefits are reduced, suspended, or questioned because of verification or data matching, you're not required to accept that decision. You can challenge it. The first step is called a request for reconsideration. Another SSA employee, someone not involved in the original decision, will review your case and the information you provide. If reconsideration doesn't resolve it, you can request a formal hearing before an administrative law judge. You can present documents, explain your situation, and show evidence the SSA was wrong. If the judge rules against you, there are still further appeals, review by the Social Security Appeals Council, and, if necessary, federal court. You also have the right to be represented throughout this process. You can hire an attorney or a qualified non-attorney representative to help gather records, prepare arguments, and communicate with Social Security. For many seniors, having professional help makes a huge difference, especially with complicated income questions or disputed data. Another important protection: you can request expedited processing. If you're facing serious financial hardship, if your benefits are suspended and you need that money for basic living expenses, you can ask the SSA to speed up review or provide temporary payments while the dispute is being resolved. The key point: an automated notice or suspension isn't the final word. Mistakes happen, databases contain errors, information gets misinterpreted. Problems may arise faster under this new system, but you can still correct them. The challenge is the responsibility now falls more heavily on you. Appeals require quick responses, organized documentation, and persistence. That's why staying informed and keeping good records is so critical. Stepping back from all the details, it helps to see the bigger picture. These changes aren't isolated. They're part of a much larger shift in how government benefit programs operate. Medicare, Medicaid, veterans benefits, other programs are adopting similar tools to detect fraud, verify eligibility, and reduce improper payments. From an administrative standpoint, these systems promise efficiency and cost savings. Computers process information faster than people. Data matching catches problems that might go unnoticed for years. But for people depending on these programs, the experience feels very different. Automation doesn't understand personal circumstances. It doesn't recognize a senior might be in the hospital, caring for a spouse, or struggling with memory issues. It just follows rules and generates actions. Under the old approach, many seniors interacted with Social Security occasionally, and often with real human employees. Under the new approach, beneficiaries must interact frequently with online systems, electronic notices, and rigid deadlines. For retirees who are organized, comfortable with technology, and have straightforward finances, this system might work smoothly. They might not notice much difference at all. But for seniors less tech-savvy, with complicated income sources, or facing health and mobility challenges, the risks are much greater. A single missed email, an overlooked notice, a misunderstood form, any of that can trigger serious consequences. That's why awareness is so important. The goal here isn't to create fear, it's to encourage preparation. Social Security remains one of America's most important safety nets. These changes don't take that away. What they do is require beneficiaries to be more involved, more attentive, and more proactive than ever before. Understanding that reality is the first step toward adapting to it. So here's what you need to remember as we wrap up. Starting today, Social Security operates under completely new rules. Benefits are verified every year, important notices arrive mostly by email, and the SSA monitors income and life changes through expanded data matching. For some seniors, these feel like simple administrative adjustments. For many others, they represent a major shift in responsibility and risk. The most important thing to remember is this: your Social Security benefits are still yours, but protecting them now requires more attention than ever before. Check your online account regularly, keep your contact information updated, respond quickly to any verification request, report life changes immediately. Never ignore a notice just because it's electronic. Staying organized and proactive is your best defense against interruptions. These new rules might feel overwhelming at first, but with the right habits and awareness, you can navigate them successfully. Stay informed, stay prepared. Most of all, stay in control of the benefits you worked a lifetime to earn. If this video helped you understand what's happening with Social Security, please hit that like button and subscribe to US News 24 for more critical updates about your money, your benefits, and your future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.